Hi there, my name is Cupicate, and welcome back to WolfQuest, the Haunted One, with Living Willow. I did go ahead and roll, and she is going to be more active today in this episode. So in the last couple of episodes, we have had Willow and Charm together. Now they have decided to stay close within the same territory, but they have separated the rendezvous site just a little bit in hopes of spreading out the territory. There was a desire in hopefully kind of keeping other wolves and this mysterious wolf that is taking over the land a little bit out of their territory by keeping them separated. And so now with them both at separate rendezvous sites, they have to visit each other. And this has been a little interesting for Living Willow, who doesn't really have that connection with Charm. She just doesn't need or feel the need to be close, but Spirit Willow is a bit hurt by this decision. However, Charm, being older and wiser in her years, understands the purpose that even though they are separated only by a little bit, their territory being larger helps them be safe. But they may come back together soon if they decide that they are stronger in numbers. Unfortunately, this leaves Charm by herself a little bit. They are still looking out for each other. They do check on each other often. Even Amor will go and check on Charm, having a connection with her in some way, with almost learning about the spirit that is inside the body that his mate resides in as well. So this whole strange dynamic has brought these three very different wolves together, these two families together. Pups are now getting to grow up with each other who wouldn't normally get to. And so the coming together of these wolves has been kind of magical in a way. I've really enjoyed, even though we have to use our imagination because I can't actually have Charm in this game or Willow in Charm's game. It's nice to get to pretend almost that they're there, they're looking over each other, they're checking on each other. It's really goes to my love of family. That family, I think, transcends even blood. It goes as far as spirit. I have been really close to friends that we aren't related by blood, but I consider them family. I think that's one of the reasons I love wolves so much, is the family dynamic. And family is going to be what makes or breaks these wolves. Family will either save them or have them fall in the end. But now that Living Willow has awakened, she's hungry, her pups need food. They don't have any carcasses currently at the rendezvous site, and thus will go on a search. Her leg is still very injured, but she still has that pull to go out there and get food for her family despite her injury. Amor is a better protector of the pups because he is stronger, and so if they get attacked, Amor, he can be there with the pups to protect them. She couldn't do much with this leg injury right now. Ah, yes, there we go. A little fawn. Not much of a bite for our pups. They need a bit more than just what this fawn can give them. And of course, Willow needs something to eat as well as Amor. Although Amor isn't too bad. I think Willow's more hungry than anything. But this injury is not going to heal if she goes hunting. She's simply going to have to look for more baby ungulates. To feed her if she ever wants to get this leg to heal. Chasing down a full-grown elk is not going to do it for her. Aw, Moore gave them some food. I just realized I broke a rule. Ugh, dang it. I think I've broken this one a couple times where Living Willow has slept at the rendezvous site, and although she will not get points for that, I think it is a bit fitting that she wants to be with them a bit more. Now that she kind of has an understanding between her and Spirit Willow, perhaps she does feel safer sleeping here, but no, she will not get points for that any longer. It depends. I might calculate which days I did it and which days I broke the rule, and we'll see. Maybe she'll get some points. And now she's off to find herself a meal. Amor wants to be with her so badly. He is one of the most loving mates I think we've ever had. Some of his behavior actually reminds me of Sundance a lot, who I miss very much. I kind of hope that beyond the coming story that may see an end to the Snagglefang pack. We don't know. I haven't decided yet. And a lot of it's going to be based off of dice rolls, depending on what happens. I'd like to see her played more, but we don't know. I don't know what is to come for the Snagglefang pack, whether they are to have this grand, glorious victory or possibly a defeat to the Dawn pack, or maybe something else they haven't even expected. I would love to hear y'all's theories down in the comments below. Something really weird just happened. So I never got baby music, but I ran past a grass patch that just happened to have an elk calf in it. Like, there was no baby music. It was a glitch. That is so odd. I don't know if the deer music was interfering with it. Huh. Interesting. We're back at the pups once again. What little carcass remains, Willow has returned. And for now, she's going to look over and see that Amor is comfortable. The pups have feasted on the little fawn. And they're happy, bellies full, turned up to the sky as they digest their meal. Willow decides to let them be so she can sleep out in the distance. Amor is still trying to come with her. I'm sorry, I don't mean to like laugh or try to keep this really professional and storytelling, but there are moments with Amor and some of the other mates where they're just like, I want to be with you. And I'm like, no, be with the puppies. So as Willow travels across the hillside, she enjoys the warmth of the sun on her back and she feels good. Despite her leg aching, her spirit feels really good. And although she listened to her father's teachings, Teo's teachings, about Eyrtha, she never really, I don't want to say took it seriously, but she didn't feel it in her heart. Like, she thought very logically about it, and it's not that she doesn't believe, but there was nothing emotional, no connection there. But now, with Spirit Willow and understanding that she is Charm's daughter and Aspen's daughter, she's starting to question things. Like, isn't Eyrtha supposed to take the spirits? Isn't she supposed to run with them, hunt with them? They're supposed to go to the forever hunting grounds where food is abundant, the chase is always going. And yet, they're still here. And Charm has mentioned Aspen's spirit. She's been brave enough to tell Willow and Amor her experiences, and Amor is fascinated. He loves hearing about it. I think he's just a happy, passionate wolf in general. But Willow is really questioning her own beliefs or what she was taught, because she doesn't understand why Eyrtha would leave wolves behind. And so as she sits in the field, she ponders and she takes a moment, something she doesn't normally do, and she meditates and asks Eyrtha, are you there? Are you with these spirits? Why haven't you taken Willow from me? And as she sits, she starts to feel this small tug in her heart, something she's never felt before, never experienced in all of her time of knowing about Eyrtha and the life beyond this one. She's never felt anything until this moment. And so she's tempted, but she's also frightened by this. She's always been kind of controlled, other than the spirit that's inside of her, having to do things carefully. And she's even a control freak because of the fact that she is partially out of control when Spirit Willow comes into the forefront of her body and she no longer has control. But she decides that she's going to cautiously follow this to see where it leads. And now Willow sees the watchtower in the distance, one that she has heard many stories about from her father, Teo. She knows that there is the place where he and Seraph grew up, where he was raised by Seraph. so many stories, and he seemed quite fond of the watchtower just in general and the way that he spoke. But anytime he mentioned Seraph, it was always with fondness of heart. She wonders where Seraph was found, if she was ever found, where she died. She never even really thought to look until this moment. But the tug that she feels is straight ahead of her to the tower. And for a brief moment, she thinks, what if, with all these spirits walking around suddenly, with supposedly Aspen walking around and Spirit Willow inside of me, what if Seraph's spirit is calling me? Even though she was not my blood grandmother, maybe we have that spiritual connection. And so the wheels are turning inside her mind because Willow's very smart. She's an intelligent wolf. She thinks hard before she acts most of the time, but she's starting to get tired. She wants to go see, but she's exhausted. And so before she officially decides, she hears howling in the distance. That howling she actually recognizes as Charm's howl. And then she catches a small whiff of Charm. So Charm has been around. Knowing that Charm is around actually gives Willow a sense of safety. Knowing that they have an alliance, she knows that she could peacefully go and fall asleep. And so she decides to huddle next to this rock since it's holding on to the heat of the sun. And she lays down for a nap. It's night now as Willow awakens, still a bit groggy. Her leg still hurts and she's frustrated with it. She feels like she can't be the wolf she wants to be with such a leg injury. She sees an old den in front of her and recognizes the smell for a moment. A tree den. She really loves those dens. But then she looks back to the watchtower. Amor's howl can be heard in the background. He's calling Willow back. But she has to know, is this really where her heart is tugging her? What if it's actually beyond the watchtower? So she howls back to him, letting him know I'm all right. But she's choosing to stay out for a bit. As she cautiously approaches the watchtower, her limp very evident in her trot, she sees a light that seems like a star just beneath the foots of the watchtower, shining enough that it looks like it's actually on the hillside. And the closer she gets, the brighter it shines. And it feels like it's pulling her. She feels warmth in her heart now, a safe feeling, as she moves towards the watchtower. And the light glitters. The closer she gets, the more it seems to emanate, whisper almost. This way, this way. Then suddenly she stops. The white light is starting to take form in the shape of a white wolf, very much like how Teo described Seraph. Pure white, pure as she was in heart. Her eyes are glowing like starlight as she beckons Willow. Right at the top of this hill, Willow sits because she's scared. It is very evident to her that this wolf is not living. No living wolf glows like that. And she still hears the whispers, "Come, child, come to me." But Willow is shaking her head. Her heart is racing, and while she doesn't feel fear, like she's in danger, it's fear of the unknown, of what is going to happen. If this is Seraph, Seraph is dead. And she has had her fair share of spirits in her life, and she doesn't know if she wants to handle any more spirits in her life. She is watching the spirit of this almost grandmother figure to her, and she can't move. But as she sits and shakes her head, something else appears behind the white, shimmering wolf. Something she's never seen in her life, and this she is terrified of. Approaching from the hill behind Seraph's ghost is a creature, part deer, part human almost. There seems to be a glowing wolf pelt over her face, the same glowing that Seraph looks, white, shimmering. The coat is honestly the same, but the eyes are glowing the same as Seraph's. And to her, to Willow, they almost look connected. This could possibly be a goddess, Willow thinks. Willow's far enough away that she can't make out details, but this creature is approaching her. And together they are saying, "Come, child, you must come now." And the creature smiles, and she pulls a bow off of her body, grabs a glowing arrow from the quiver, and aims it at Willow. Now Willow feels like she's in danger. She does not take a moment. Her limp is barely beneath her as she wisps away from the scene. She doesn't want to be anywhere near what is going on at the watchtower. She's terrified by what she saw. She's weaving in and out of hills, hoping that thing is not following her. But in her ears, she hears the thundering of hooves coming for her. They're calling her, "Wait, wait." And then her stamina runs out. She's weak. Her leg hurts. She's terrified. She's whimpering. She doesn't know what to do. And then she tries to run, using the hill with the momentum of gravity to get her down as fast as she possibly can. And the thundering falls silent. But she keeps going. She can't stop. She just can't. Willow runs into the rendezvous site and finds Amor immediately. She takes a moment with him. He can tell that she's terrified. Even the pups are worried, surrounding their mother. She's panting, exhausted, but she isn't really sure what to tell them, and she doesn't want to frighten her own pups. She woofs them into the grass. She needs to speak to Amor. She can tell the pups are hungry and they need food, and she has brought nothing back. But she says to Amor, "We need to leave. We need to leave Lost River. We need to go home. I cannot stay here. We have to leave." And he's confused, obviously, looking at her wide-eyed. "Why would we just pick up and leave? It's too soon. The pups aren't ready. They need to be a little bigger. It isn't fall yet. This isn't the time." He walks away, paces from her, just like, You must have had a bad dream. Something must be going on that can be explained. It's all right." And he doesn't really want to hear it. It isn't time yet. They couldn't handle a journey. All of his points are extremely valid. Being able to move and find food right now in the year would be hard. They're already struggling with her injury. He was injured very badly a couple episodes ago, thanks to a bear and a bison. But he's like, "We just recovered. We can't pick up and leave like this. And what about Charm?" Willow knows all this is true, but her heart is pounding and she's terrified. She decides instead to wander off on her own to get as far away from that watchtower as she possibly can and sleep. She'll find food for them in the morning. Amor rushes after her. "Please don't be angry." And Willow says, "I'm not angry. I'm scared. I am truly terrified, and I just need time to myself." She explains that she'll tell the story of what she saw tomorrow, but not now. She needs to process what she saw. She needs to find food for her pups and for herself. She's exhausted. She's running on absolute empty. She chooses this rock where she could see a little bit ahead of her, hoping that she'd have height advantage if something came after her. She doesn't feel that tug anymore. She doesn't hear the hoofbeats on the ground. She doesn't hear the whisper, the deep feminine voice. She just sees her pups in a moor, the watchtower far enough away that it's barely visible, and she collapses. When she awakens in the morning, she is feeling much better. Her paw seems to have healed enough that she can put pressure on it, despite the fact that she raced past everything, really, in such a hurry. She's surprised it healed. And she is still herself. She is still living Willow. And she is so conflicted. She wants to leave right now, but she does have her family to consider. And so she thinks that she'll go to Charm and ask her. But we'll have to wait for that until the next episode. I'm sorry this was so story heavy, y'all. I've been making it story heavy because I have a lot to tell and a lot to prepare before Stygander and everybody meets up in Slough Creek again. We got a lot to do. And I want you guys to get details of how thin the veil truly is in Lost River, why spirits are running rampant, and why this creature, who I'm wondering if you know who she is there in the first place, and what Seraph means to her. All of these questions. Tell me your theories. I want to hear them. I'm so excited. Well, I hope you liked this episode. If you did, tickle and poke that like button, subscribe to join our family if you haven't already, and jingle the bell so you're notified of when I post more WolfQuest videos. Also, feel free to join Discord. I would love to hear your theories in Discord as well. Follow me on Twitch if you want to see more content, usually live, because that's what Twitch does. I love you guys. Thanks again for watching, and I will see you next week for more of the Haunted One. But we might find out a little sooner in Charm's episode on Wednesday. So I'll see you then. Bye!